I am going to make a statement here at the beginning, and something I know I start a lot of these with, but I just really wanted to thank and tip my hat to our crowd. I can't imagine a better home court atmosphere than the one we just experienced this weekend. And you get into mid-January and college basketball starts to take center stage in conference play. You see the pageantry and you see good crowds, perhaps more throughout the country, but there's no crowd that's any better than the one we just experienced. And a big reason that we fought to the end, and our players were inspired by how loud it got, the student section and everybody. So just really want to thank our crowd, and look, they saw one great game. You don't see too many 92-91 games that you win in conference play. So I would just start right there.
Coach, you talked after the Providence game when Trey had his breakout performance about the light bulb moment for a freshman where that kind of unlocks him. Do you feel like maybe Dalen had that tonight, not just with the dunk, but he was leading the full court press to force turnovers and grabbed a bunch of key rebounds for you?
No, for sure. I told Dalen after the game, in our locker room, that that was his best game of his young Xavier career. He impacted tonight's game in a way that he hasn't impacted any game. And he's had some good moments, but tonight he was one of our best players, and he was involved in numerous key plays throughout the game. He's been working really hard in practice, before practice, after practice, spending extra time with Dante Jackson in film. And I think one of the things we've learned about Dalen is, you have to bring out the best in him. Coach him hard, push him, because he's so young and talented that I just think that sometimes he doesn't almost understand the things that he's capable of doing. He had 5 assists and no turnovers. Like you mentioned, he made some key defensive plays. And to see him go at the basket and dunk it, there's so many times early this year he would have been apprehensive, but he's gaining more confidence. And you're right, game 18, he's not that young freshman like he once was.
Sean, what kind of mountain was it to climb tonight? Des was just talking about, the fact you only led for 1 minute and 21 seconds of that game, and it felt like a fight the entire way. And I think with 7:28, you called a timeout in the second half. They had just gotten the lead again. What was going through your mind at that point?
No, it was just a matter of just trying to get our guys to stick together and fight hard. It's always tough when you start to question effort, because a lot of times when you watch the film, guys for the most part play really hard. Tonight there was like another level required, and there are times when I just felt like on the defensive end we weren't as good, we weren't as hard playing. We didn't, just when you're playing against a guy like Epps and it's deliberate and they're running you off of screens, they have numerous guys that can make plays. We struggled, and a part of our struggle was, early in the game, they made 8 threes, I believe, in about the first 10 minutes of the game. And some of those we weren't as alert or as ready as we needed to. We talked a lot about their front court and their sub at the 5 and their starting 4-man. What's the one thing they can really do? Shoot 3-point shots. And sure enough, they had 3 threes first 10, 12 minutes. So there's always lessons to be learned. If tonight we would have lost the game, that would have been a big reason. Our inability to defend the 3-point line, especially in the first half. And then, when that happens, and you're playing from behind, you tend to your defense spreads out. And as it spreads out, more difficult to help, and they have some terrific one-on-one players. And the other part is they went 20 for 21 from the line. That's a great night from the line. So, you're fouling them and they're making 2 and 3 free throws every single time. But we're fortunate to win. I think that's obvious. But I'll also tell you, there's a couple games early in the year we could have won and didn't. And it's funny how that kind of plays itself out over the long year. And tonight we got one back. And look, I credit Georgetown. They were ready. They were prepared. Heath, for example, who hasn't played as much and hasn't played as big of a role as he played tonight, he had 18 points. And we knew him from a year ago. But I also want to point this out. This was our 4th game in 9 days. 4 Big East games in 9 days. I mean, and you just go through them. UConn at home, at Providence, Butler at home, and then tonight. I mean, that has a wearing down effect as well. All of us go through these pockets during the year. In Georgetown's case, I think the last game they played would have been last Sunday, maybe at UConn. So, you know, sometimes you can feel that a little bit, but I thought our guys fought all the way to the end, and man, I'm really excited we were able to win the game.
Sean, Ed was in here and he gave you a lot of credit, particularly there at the end of the game on the final possession. Can you walk us through what you told your team and sort of that wrinkle that you threw at him?
Yeah, I mean, we have a call for that, and we do it. It's this simple, you know. We've watched him make a lot of shots. We're having a really hard time guarding him. In this last possession, we might not win, but he's not shooting. Somebody else is. And Dalen did a great job trapping at the right time. He gave the ball up like he had to. And it's not like they didn't get a strong drive, but it wasn't him driving. And I think that all of us sometimes have the peace of mind in that possession that if it goes in, we made the smart move to make somebody else beat us. And that's what we did.
Coach, you're going into one of your bigger weeks of the season on the road to Creighton, on the road to UConn next week, but you've won 3 in a row. How do you feel like overall you're positioned right now?
Yeah, and I would just say that one of the things that we can't do is, you know, put more of an emphasis on big week, not big week, not as big a week, really big week. You know, you do the same thing with games. A game we have to win, a game we can't lose. And what ends up happening there is, you know, all of us get away from really what's going to allow us to be the best we can be, and that is like the daily process. One of the things that our team has done a good job of is we haven't panicked or just fell off the rails because of difficult losses or tough moments. And we also haven't acted as if we've arrived when we've won a game. And we've really done a good job of sticking with it. And I think that, you know, we play at Creighton next, really hard game. But what's going to allow us to be the best we can be in Omaha on Tuesday night is how we go from tonight's game all the way until Tuesday. Is it big? Right now they all are, because I just feel like we're in America's best conference. Our conference is unique. We play everybody at home 10 times. We play everybody on the road 10 times. And then you're going to play a 21st game in Madison Square Garden against one of these good teams. So for us, it's just seeing things for what they are. We did this well, we didn't do that well. Being the most ready we can be. And we have to do that all the way through. So, you know, I think we're 7 games in. We don't have to replay those, thank God. So now we have 13 more, and all 13 are equal. None should mean more or less than the other. Same thing home or away. When it's away, you got to show up and be ready to win. And at home, you got to be ready to take advantage of our crowd and be the most ready we can be. So, yeah, the big week, it doesn't exist for us. It's just the next game. And it's so important that we continue to do things like that. I think it's helped us to this point. I do think we've done that well.
Last question.
Sean, you guys scored 92 points, averaged, I think, 1.2 plus points per possession against a defense that was unique in the sense that they're playing a matchup zone and sometimes switching in the same possession to a man-to-man. Was that just a good matchup for you guys, or do you see some real progress on the offensive end and your guys learning and putting things together there?
No, we're better on offense. There's no doubt. The improvement has been gradual, but you know, I think if you start tracking us last 3-4 games, we're more efficient. I mean, we had 27 assists. It's so hard, difficult to have 27 assists in a college game. And we had only 9 turnovers. You know, just those 2 stats alone, we got to the free throw line 29 times. We're doing things better. So I think we're improving on offense. We really didn't get the job done tonight on defense. We didn't. You know, we've been consistent on that end, and we have to learn from this game, maybe make some adjustments, be better, and hopefully on Tuesday when we play our next game, get our defense back together again.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.